Interesting stuff that's been going on the ward. Since I told one of the workers I really needed a dose of realism and to start dealing with this stuff in real world ways rather than the ways they've been going on. They've never had any success and all the rest of it ultimately. But what do you know? They've just, like I said, kept going, running around even ever more. It's like, that's sort of one of the things that I do think to myself. It's like, if it wasn't for all the drug-ins, not so much shenanigans, because they're easy to deal with, they're just sort of a repetition of the type of stuff that went on between 96 and 2000 with the architects and their cohorts. But with the drug-ins, if the drug-ins weren't taking place, and yet to a certain extent the shenanigans, because like, you know, you do, if you were to walk around town and go for a coffee, you know, to all that kicking off, it is a bit crazy. But anyway, the drug-ins, yeah, yeah, without that, would I need any psychiatry? No. I've really got to question that. You know, I will take the pills because we know what we know if belief, we know how belief systems can react. You know, there's a long history of belief systems throughout history. You know, I can think of one or two, but there's bound to be more who have adverse reaction to when their beliefs on. Taken on board by people. But yeah, one example, I suppose, is when one of their cohort was one of their cohort, quite a few of their cohorts was sort of positioned as me being a poser. What now I said in the last video how inaccurate that was. But during the 25 years, you could make the case that the amalgam, the subject, was some sort of bloody poser. But I am. So look, where does that leave us? Yeah, with people doing that sort of thing. You know, constant repetition of it. I mean, we've had a fair bit of repetition today, as you'd expect. With one of their new characters being busted in here, being a bit convivial to start off with, and then switching like that, and then, you know, it's like, well, how many billion times have you pulled that stunt, you know? And then one of the staff here, who I actually get on with really well, trying to, you know, come out with the old, and it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Fucking, you know, it is pretty tiresome. But anyway, it goes on, and it's just like, that's just the way it is. But yeah, it's like ever since I mentioned to them, well, in the lead up to that, as well as they were trying to engineer different things, which usually tends to be, and this is what you would expect from from a belief system that isn't perhaps entirely confident in its beliefs, in the validity, the solidity of their system, and the thoughts that go behind that. That they would have adverse reactions, or go off on one at various times. But yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, I wouldn't have this cough. You know, I wasn't doing this video. Let's just say that, which I think we all know by now. So yeah, trying to, I don't know, with druggings and all the rest of it, but it does. You know, would I need psychiatric medication if I wasn't drugged up all the time? It's not just the shenanigans, but some of the shenanigans, because they're so all over the place and in your face and all the rest of it. You just have to say, well, that's the way it is. This is a belief system. But interesting that they're now coming out with starting to link the British monarchy, part of the aristocracy, to this, right? Do it with politics, and then well, they might as well do it with the monarchy. You know, I'm neither a monarchist nor a Republican. You know, it's just a debate that I'm not interested in. I don't think. Yeah, and when you think about that, and you think about Jonny and Baby, two of the architects, you think, well, hang on a sec. Jonny, right, having been weakened by events, was then weakened further by Baby, right? And that was evident in the way he depicts what was going on in the British royal family at the time, back in the mid-90s. You know, they may well know this, but you know, it doesn't bear repeating. Because I know if I repeat that, then the tricks will just go to them and say, well, we need to do this now. Oh, there we go. All the rest of it, as they would with their belief system. But anyway, yeah, and the stuff that Jonny said about the British monarchy was really Hollywood B-movie type stuff, the characterizations and everything. You know, it was like really bizarre. But that was the state he was in. And that was before anything kicked off. But yeah, so, you know, it's just like you think, well, fuck, that's... and they turned the world. They turned the world inside out, upside down for the architects to make them look good and me look like I need psychiatry, where they're established as the norms for how to be and how to live and how to think and how to do. All the rest of it is just like, are you having a fucking laugh? But anyway, here I am, and that's the way it is. So yeah, it's getting back to that. But the important thing, the really important thing, all that aside, you know, they'll do whatever they do. The shrinks, they've got the power to do that. You know, they can establish with the wider public and with the other institutions. Yeah, we're more than a belief system, and the churches or the other institutions and so on and so forth will go, yeah, all right, then you're the experts, all that, and that's the way it'll go. But anyway. You know, the thing that's really the great thing about this morning is, despite all this, I've finally started getting into stuff. I've ditched all that. I'd started on doing this mini project I was going to embark on around oral narrative, and for various reasons, not only for people who are fucked up, but for a vast array of people, which could have been quite useful. But like I said in the last video, someone else can pick it up. So I've sort of left that probably permanently, and now branching out onto the type of education I should have had, if not in school, then at least at college. You know, and I've started on with Dialectic of Enlightenment by Adorno and Horkheimer. That really, not only for the content, but for the way it's presented, even though it can be a bit of a difficult read, even at the early stage that I'm reading it at. It's a type of stuff I'd really take to, and I think a lot of people would. You know, that people talk about the sciences, the physical sciences, but the humanities and the social sciences, you know, you need all of them. You know, you do need your scientists. You do need your, for example, in computing, you do need your coders, but also you need people who are able to take a step back in a more systematic, informed way, and see, you know, make and form some sort of conclusions and summations of what they see and the trends that they pick up on. And talking of trends, so yeah, that's I'm really looking forward to where that goes. So talking of trends, something like I told last night about posers. and you could make the case for those 25 years of me being some sort of poser. It's not a million miles different from when they came to my house and they thought, when they dropped me down the hospital in 2000, that hospital in 2000, and like I've said before, and they depicted me because Baby, Jonny and Baby, had sort of characterised me as some sort of country bumpkin to try and elevate themselves intellectually, and so on. And so they portrayed me as some sort of country bumpkin. Well, when it turned out I was anything but, I wasn't some great genius or anything like that. But when it turned out that I wasn't a country bumpkin, if I was a country bumpkin, that would have been a problem. If I wasn't a country bumpkin, that became a problem for them. So to cut to the chase, they were going to see me as a problem from the off. The architects and their cohorts had already done that good a job for them. And the fact that for those 25 years, I could be portrayed as some sort of poser, where you'd get people who've been incredible posers and probably still are intellectually in other ways, being brought in to try and make and whatever, and it's just like, what are you trying to fucking kid? The trouble is, they've got the powers, this belief system called psychiatry, to convince just about anyone, just about anything they want to fucking believe. That's the way it is. Anyway, never was a poser in my life until what was it? Shay's dead and all that type of thing that they've tried rehashing again. But yeah, the interesting stuff. No, I won't talk about what Jonny said about the Aristocracy just now. But like I said, really Hollywoody, B-movie type style. You just think they've become so important in society. Those architects, such a fundamental feature of life in so many areas these days that I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to let go of that, which is possibly one of the reasons why the shrinks have engineered all the shenanigans that have been going on here. Not so much with the druggings though yet, but anyway, while they've been doing that, they just can't get out of the situation the stories that consume them, the Hollywood type shit that consumes them, the belief system that they constructed for so long around me having meds that, like I say, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'll take them, but I'm not sure I need them. If you're drugged up for so long, if your world is turned upside down, inside out, well, if the world is turned upside down, inside out, to make the architects and their cohorts look good, then why should I take meds for that? It just doesn't sound right to me. That's what it is. But yeah, so anyway, it may have to be some time, because obviously there'd been plans made for when I went back to the flat. It's just that goes without saying, and quite possibly more drug-ins and so on and so forth, regardless of anything that I did. So the NHS, and this does smell of propaganda. The NHS could position itself as in some sort of drive. Like we got on the propaganda jukebox, British stuff, which then they tie into the British aristocracy, and conveniently forgetting what Jonny used to say about them, because events and his missus and Baby had screwed him up. That's about it anyway. So yeah, whatever happens here, and We'll see if I ever get to go back to the flat. Well, if I get to go back to the flat before the end of the summer, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like I say, I will now, after letting off a bit of steam and then sort of pointing out a few things that do actually need to be pointed out without actually going into detail about exactly what Jonny did say about the aristocracy. Yeah, get back into my reading, get a Coke, and settle down for the afternoon with the type of content that I am actually interested in. Interestingly, which I knew they'd do anyway. Once I said I wouldn't be going back to the telly, they'd just not do the old stuff. Like I said in the last video with the internet. Yeah, and it's just like, and you just think to yourself, well, that's what happens when belief systems need to be believed.